Christmas has come and gone. It's that one special time of year where you're with family and friends, having wonderful, joyous times. With a mix of presents too. It's the New Year's now. Happy New Year, everybody. I remember way back in 2004, it just hit the new year, 2005. I got Christmas money from my parents, and I had nothing to spend it on. 10 days into 2005, a new Zelda game was released. I had to have it. I bought it, I played it, I had fun with it, but it left a weird taste in my mouth. Come 2011, the 3DS Ambassador program came around, and this was one of the games. I had it, I didn't want to play it. Come 2013's end, I get bored, so I decided to play one of my most hated Zelda games. What do I think of it today? Let's find out. Basically, a long time ago, when the world was about to be taken over by evil, the thumb-sized Picori appeared, giving a hero a sword and the force called the Golden Light. Using these, the hero beat the darkness, and when all was said and done, the Picori blade was enshrined upon a chest, sealing all sorts of evil. After these events, the people, grateful to the Picori, hold a festival once a year in their honor, with many different attractions. Every 100 years, a door somewhere in Hyrule opens and the mystical Picori come to visit. The main attraction is a sword fighting tournament for warriors all over to show courage, just like the hero of legend. This year, the winner of the sword fighting tournament goes by the name of Vati, who unleashes the sealed creatures out of the chest, believing it to contain the light force, and shattering the Picori blade in the process. As our hero Link, you must meet the Picori, who you eventually learn are called the Minish, repair the broken blade, gather the 4 elements, and defeat Vati. Borrowing the style from Force Swords, a multiplayer-only title released in 2002 along with Link to the Past and 1 GBA cartridge, recently as DSiWare title with new features during the 25th anniversary of Zelda, only is now unable to be downloaded. The main influence is the art style from the Wind Waker. It really turns out great for a sprite-based title. Every animation is cartoonish while still keeping detail, especially with the view closer to the ground compared to other top-down titles. It's a beautiful, vibrantly colored game. Compared to the 3D title, The Wind Waker, where the fanbase was split on the art style, most people, including me, have no problems with it here. There's also the bonus of having 3 screen brightness settings to adjust for the backlight in your handheld. Each higher brightness setting oversaturates the colors to help you see the game better depending on your preference. On the Game Boy Player, the visuals appear very pixelated and off, but that's to be expected from blowing up the small resolution of the GBA screen. While this is unfortunate, it won't affect my final rating. Perhaps some of the best music to come out of the Game Boy Advance library. The sound of the game is amazing to say the least. From the peaceful melodies of the Minish village, to the epic tone of Mount Crano as he climbed the large mountain. It's easily one of the best soundtracks of any Zelda game and helped us keep going along on our journey to save our world. Much like the Oracle games, it keeps the top-down perspective of many Zelda games before it, and was also developed by Capcom's flagship team, with Nintendo overseeing the process. The dungeons are puzzles where you gather the item, navigate it, with said item defeat the boss. Before we get into why I had so many problems with this game, let's talk controls. It's a given you control Link and navigate menus with the control pad. Start to enter the subscreen to access the items and maps. Select to talk to your guide of the game, Ezlo. I won't get into him, he's essentially Navi, or a more later title, Fi. This game leads you to believe that it keeps the same. Items can be equipped on either A or B style from the Oracle games, and A being accept and B cancel respectively. but it adds a spin to it, placing R as your context-sensitive action button, similar to the action icon in the 3D titles. This leaves L to fuse Kinstone when the prompt to appears. The controls are similar, but this game has many differences from other Zelda titles. There are 3 features in this game that allow you to progress through the game. The first is your ability to shrink to the size of a thumb to explore areas the Minish inhabit through the power of your hat. Early on in your adventure to repair the Vikori blade, you meet Eslo, a talking duck-billed cap who allows you to shrink through portals laid throughout the land to explore new areas of the map normal-sized Link couldn't normally reach. The second is your sword. You start off a standard blade given to you by Master Smith, but as you progress you repair the Vikori blade and have to infuse it with the elements you get from the dungeons, giving you the power to split into separate Link 4-sword style and solve puzzles using separate links on the magic meter that acts as a time limit. There's also sword techniques that you learn throughout the game, giving you a wide array of attacks to use. The third are objects called Kinstones. Kinstones are mystical coin-looking objects split in 2. You must fuse these pieces with others to make chests, rare monsters, pathways, and pieces of heart appear. Some even may start side quests or allow you to progress. There are 100 Kinstone fusions in all. My problem with this game lies mostly within these 3 general features. Shrinking down to the size of the Minish portrays you as a few pixels on screen, accompanied by an arrow pointing you out, with certain areas in the game showing Link at standard size. Where this fails to me is the size of Hyrule in this game. Much like the Minish, it's small. In my opinion, they could have had Minish Hyrule a whole other map, potentially creating a bigger game with more areas you can access only at Minish size. So while you explore as a tiny mesh of pixels on screen normally, changing this one aspect could have easily made the game longer. The sword, while yes it is the 4-sword, some areas require you to push a block using multiple links to get around again and again until you can swim around or navigate around them other ways. It effectively locks out much of Hyrule, so you can't explore areas before you're able to. Older Zelda games gave you access to areas before you can get to them, and occasionally blocking you out. Locking you out of areas forces you to press forward and explore less. That leads me to the Kinstones. There are 100 fusions of these in the game. Some fusions lead to other Kinstones to fuse with others, some give you pieces of heart, rupees, monsters, and other prizes. My issue with this is that instead of exploring and locating these things for yourself, you're again roadblocked until you fuse with the right person. This means they have to get the right stone, fuse it with the right person. This system thankfully is color coded, so you know what you're most likely going to get for these fusions. Green Kinstones commonly give rupee awards, blue Kinstones are mostly tucked away for side quests of their own, and red Kinstones reveal much bigger prizes such as a piece of heart, new passageways, lots of rupees, or just other red Kinstones. Lastly, there exist gold Kinstones that are purely plot fusions to progress in the game. This makes the system a bit less tedious because you know what you're in for with each fusion. An icon also displays above their head that shows what's in store if you were to fuse with them. It doesn't help that you still have to find the right piece to do these fusions. I found myself constantly wasting money at the end to get Kinstones. Also, what makes the system tedious are fusions considered to be fickle. These fusions don't always appear right away when you walk up to these ones. This game is very side quest heavy, the Kinstones being the brunt of it. That being said, the game only has 6 dungeons. 6, that's it. It's similar to Wind Waker. The dungeons themselves are short and easy, it's the trek to the dungeons that's the hard part. For a portable game, it will really be at home on a console for all the completionists out there. With the quest taking multiple hours a beat, having it on the go isn't the best. The bosses are varied and decent battles though, not grand epic battles or puzzlers that take a while to figure out how to beat them, but simple ones that require to use the recently new items to beat. There's also more side quests outside the Kinstones. This game has a collectible called Mysterious Shells that can be used for a probability minigame. You collect figurines based on how many shells you put in, with your chances of getting a new one lower the more figures you have. More than 100 of them to collect, 130 to be exact, and that's not even the half of it. In order to get all 20 hearts you have to do this, but there's more. First you have to beat the game, then you unlock 6 more figures, which allows you to get the trophy to complete that side quest. But also, once you beat the game, this game has post-game content. It's just a mirror shield just for completion, it doesn't really help out much, it allows you to block off more shots, etc. And if you haven't before you beat the game, there's also the Kinstone Fusion medal that you get from Tingle. He gives you a medal for completing all 100 fusions. I did it all. The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap is a mixed bag of goodies for me. While some aspects of the game I hate and some I like, I'm surprised how much I actually came to like this game after playing it after so many years. Will I pick it up and play it casually now and again? Maybe not, I didn't hate the game like I used to. The Kinstones, while tedious, was a decent idea, but in the end, it makes a short game have too much padding. If the rewards for the Kinstones were hidden throughout Hyrule and not just revealed to you upon fusion, it would be more rewarding to find the prizes. My real enemy was the figurines. Oh, the figurines! Sitting there for hours getting shells to get figurines was a massive chore and not worth the reward in the end. Despite all the side quests, the short story, and the excessive padding, the game was a fun time for me. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and I even wrote the review listening to the soundtrack of this game. I would play this game again, but I wouldn't go as far to complete it unless I was challenged. The game's charm won me over the second time around, and I'll give this game a play. Pick it up, enjoy it, but getting every little thing just isn't worth the extra time. Thanks for watching my first review. I'd love to hear your ideas for the show in the comments below, and if you liked what you saw, leave a like and maybe a subscribe. Have a great day.